Hey, I'm Stevan, and this is FBI Radio and Young Henry's Independent Play.
Thinks I'm perfect, but I'm a loser, No, I'm just a dreamer what you want. Don't you think a little bit about me sometime? Oh, sometime. I know you really wanna love me sometime. Oh, sometime. Don't you really think a bit about me sometime? Oh, sometime. I know you really wanna love me sometime. Oh, sometime. All the time, you be thinking all the time, you be thinking all the time, all the time. Oh, you be thinking all the time, you be thinking all the time, you be thinking all the time, all the time. Ooh, understand, my mind and body separated from my hands. From her hand, a lost boy with a big dream, got nothing it seems to be waiting on me, waiting on. Don't you think a little bit about me sometime? Oh, sometime. I know you really wanna love me sometime. Oh, sometime. Don't you think a little bit about me sometime? Oh, sometime. I know you really wanna love me sometime. Oh, sometime. You be thinking all the time, you be thinking all the time, you be thinking all the time, all the time. Oh, you be thinking all the time, you be thinking all the time, you be thinking all the time.
Dead or Alive, wow, this is big. I'm a big fan of Stevie Wonder, yeah? And I just think like melodically he'd do something really crazy with it. Which era, Stevie? Okay, so I think Music of My Mind era, it's pretty early. It's like when he started experimenting, and there's one song in particular that I think if you cross-reference some ideas, you'd see some reflections between that song from that era and like time. It's called Superwoman. And the reason why I think he'd do such a great job is like, I took inspiration from that. So I think the Source would probably do it better, I don't know. Yeah, I'd love for him to do it. If it wasn't Stevie Wonder, it'd be like Pharrell or something, just cause like, he's like making hits 24/7. So.
I know you really wanna love me.
The interaction you get between like the audience and, you know, yourself or your band members as well, because like you can see the reaction flows, like the audience reacts and then it hits me and then it hits my piano player Marley and then it hits the drummer and then it hits the bass player, and then we're all kind of connected, and we're like, when you get into it, it's like a lot of musicians like to use the word a pocket. One moment that I can say where we got that feeling was we did that Newcastle set on Winston's tour. Newcastle, no one really knew our stuff, so it was so cool to like start playing. you could see people come in, and we saw people get in and start engaging with it, and really start to like dance and groove. Because I feel like when the audience does that, we play better. So we all started like really going hard, you know what I mean? Like doing stuff, and then by the end of our set, like I think we got an encore. That feeling, I guess, like that's the feeling that I'm talking about. Like we were so in sync. I felt like the crowd was feeling what we were feeling at the same time. Like we felt like it was a good set, and they enjoyed it. So yeah, it was awesome. It was like sync. We were all synced. Yeah. Worst thing about playing live is that you're kind of bearing all. It's a song that you've written, you've spent so much time on it, you've spent so much time practicing, and I think sometimes like the audience might not know how much time has been spent into it, and you're really just expressing yourself as pure as you can. And the worst thing about that is like if it gets rejected, it's like, oh, it's like a kick to the gut. An example of where that happened was it was a really private show, but we played it and it was like at Northgate Hotel. It was like a gig. We booked a gig there, and me and the boys were at the front of the stage, and there had been a UFC match on. So, and everyone had been drinking, so everyone was pumped up, and they were like, oh, they're all G'd, you know? Anyways, we got up on stage, and what was even worse was like my music at the time was super smooth, sensual, sweet music, and they had just finished watching the UFC. It was like, what was it? It was like water and oil or something. It was just not mixing, and yeah, that's a negative experience. A guy named Sola, he's based in Brisbane. Funny story, we started making music. He's the one who started teaching me about production. Like, I used to just sing, and then we started communicating over SoundCloud, because I live in New South Wales, obviously he lives in Queensland, but we started communicating over SoundCloud, and we did a cover of Andre 3000's Prototype. Yeah, banger, it's an amazing song. We did a cover of it, and back then I was still like trying to write raps. You know, I wasn't confident enough to sing, and he pushed me to start like playing instruments, to start like being confident in my voice. So big shout out to him, and his music is crazy. I can't wait till he gets a bunch of attention as well. I'm part-time at uni, you know, I'm also working a little bit. However, as far as like hobbies or like other interests that span outside of music, it's like, I've always felt like I've got like a little bit of charisma, like, and a personality. So I've always wanted to try and like, you know, do some form of like acting. And I've gotten a chance to actually like, I've gotten a chance to talk to my director about stuff like that, and like we've got a little bit of plans, but I've really been interested in that. That's like a whole nother side that I've always wanted to explore, is like writing and sort of acting and stuff like that. And music is allowing me to practice and get a chance to do that, which is amazing, yeah. Call up management, see what they can do. I'm trying to learn how to do all that stuff now, but I'm a little late on that. Yeah, no. I know you really, really wanna love me so. Yeah, what? Yeah, of course. What? Yeah. Some people can't. Oh, really? You got some yes? You got like a yes to that? Yeah. Wow. Yes. But it was a very special condition. It was, what was it? Oh, it was Black Panther. I wanted to go watch it alone, because I knew if I went with family members, they'd be talking, and I just wanted to see that movie. I just wanted to see it, and yeah. The uncoolest artist that I openly love, it's not because they're not cool, but like, a lot of people are like, oh, it's pop, but I really like, what's his name? The guy who made Attention. It sounds like I don't love him now because I can't remember his name, but Charlie Puth. Charlie Puth. His last album, what was it called? Voice Notes? It slaps. I don't care what people say. I love that album. And he's very pop, so he's perceivably uncool, but I like him.